What's up film factors, and welcome to the video about all DreamWorks villains. General Mandible is the villain in the movie Ants. He is a power-hungry leader of an army of ants. He is obsessed with the idea of creating a perfect society where only the strongest and most capable ants should survive. He is willing to sacrifice anyone who opposes his will. Clearly one of the darkest villains. In The Prince of Egypt, Ramses is the antagonist. When he learns that his brother Moses is a Hebrew and opposes the oppression of his people, he decides to fight. Ramses is very uncompromising and proud, which leads to a great conflict. Kukulkan is the villain in The Road to El Dorado. He is a greedy high priest of the Mayan people and seeks control over the city of El Dorado. He doesn't hesitate to manipulate his people to achieve his goals. He also seeks to eliminate the protagonists. The owner of the chicken farm, Mrs. Tweety, is the antagonist in Chicken Run. She only wants to profit from her farm and exploits the chickens exclusively. Furthermore, she wants to slaughter the chickens to make even greater profits. Zulika is the antagonist in Joseph, King of Dreams. She is the wife of Pharaoh Potiphar. Despite this, she tries to seduce the slave Joseph to achieve her own goals. She even goes so far as to have Joseph unjustly thrown into prison. In Shrek, Lord Farquaad is the villain. For power and prestige, he wants to drive all fairy tale creatures out of his land. He arrogantly places himself above all other beings. As a culmination, he wants to marry Princess Fiona, but he lacks the courage to free her himself. The ambitious colonel of the U.S. cavalry is the villain in Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. The colonel wages war against the Indians and the wild horses. He is determined to break the freedom of all wild horses and make them workhorses for the cavalry. In doing so, he destroys nature and thus the habitat of the horses and Indians. The goddess of chaos and discord, Eris, is the antagonist in Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. She wants to bring chaos to the world and overthrow the legendary sailor Sinbad. She uses both her seduction skills and her power to unleash natural disasters. In Shrek 2, the villain is the fairy godmother. She uses her magical abilities to manipulate events to advance her own interests. Her plan is to marry Fiona to her son Prince Charming to expand her power over the kingdom. The shark Don Lino is the villain in Shark Tale. He is a powerful mafia boss and controls the underwater realm. However, his goal is to control the entire fish kingdom to protect his family and legacy. He constantly uses his mafia connections. The Fosses are the villains in the movie Madagascar. They are like wild dogs in Madagascar and repeatedly attack the lemurs. The Fosses are at the top of the food chain in Madagascar. However, that changes when the New York Zoo animals strand there. In the movie of Wallace Gromit, the antagonist is Lord Victor Quatermain. He is a wealthy landowner and admirer of Lady Toddington. He plans to kill the rabbits and marry Lady Toddington to increase his wealth and influence. Over the Hedge has three villains. First, there is the bear Vincent, who hunts and wants to kill RJ. Then there is Gladys Sharp. She hates wild animals and does not want to see any on her property. When RJ incites the other animals to steal things from humans, they run into Gladys. She then calls the exterminator Dwayne LaFontaine. The Toad is the antagonist in Flushed Away. He is on the hunt for the rat Rita, who stole a valuable ruby from him. Furthermore, Toad wants to destroy the rat world and turn it into a luxurious pool oasis. The self-absorbed son of Fairy Godmother, Prince Charming, is now the main antagonist in the third Shrek movie. He is obsessed with becoming king of Far Far Away, come what may. He builds an army in the underworld to carry out a coup against Shrek. In B-Movie, the villain is Leighton T. Montgomery. He is a heartless lawyer for a large honey company. He advocates for the exploitation of bees to make more profit. He is greedy and does not hesitate to deceive the jurors. In Kung Fu Panda, the snow leopard Tai Lung is the antagonist. Tai Lung was formerly Shifu's student and foster son, but on the way to becoming the dragon warrior, he fell into evil. As a result, a maximum security prison was built specifically for him. Definitely one of the most interesting villains with a heart-wrenching backstory. Makunga is the name of the villain in Madagascar, Escape to Africa. The lion Makunga has spent his entire life in the shadow of Alex's father. His goal is to finally gain power over the pride and become king of the savannah. For this, he manipulates and deceives. The alien Galaxer is the main antagonist in Monsters vs. Aliens. He seeks to conquer Earth to expand his galactic rule. With his technologically advanced robots and monsters, he is ready to go to any lengths to achieve his goals. He doesn't even hesitate to wipe out all of humanity. The Red Death is the largest of all dragons and is the villain in How to Train Your Dragon. The Red Death destroys and devours everything in its path. Its mere existence brings fear across the land, and the inhabitants of Berk fear its attack. The well-known fairy tale character Rumpelstiltskin is the villain in Shrek Forever After. He is a cunning trickster who tricks Shrek with a magical contract. This allows him to create an alternative reality. This allows him to manipulate Shrek's life and take over the kingdom of Far Far Away. In Megamind, Titan is the antagonist. He is accidentally endowed with superpowers by Megamind. He abuses them to spread chaos in the city, but only so he can ultimately save the people and be seen as a hero. But his craving for recognition endangers the people. Lord Shin is the villain in the second Kung Fu Panda movie. Shin is a peacock with a dark past. According to a prophecy, he wants to seize world domination. For this, he has a huge intimidating army. When Per realizes that Shin has destroyed his family, it becomes even clearer how ruthless he is. One of the best villains ever. In Puss in Boots, Humpty Dumpty is the main antagonist. Puss and Humpty Dumpty have known each other forever. Originally, he was an ally of Puss, but he turned into a ruthless villain. He leads Puss astray and betrays him. The French police officer Chantal Dubois is the antagonist in Madagascar 3, pursuing Alex and his friends. Chantal Dubois chases the animals across Europe. She already has all kinds of animal heads on her wall, but a lion is still missing. Pitch Black, also known as the Boogeyman, is the villain in Rise of the Guardians. He personifies nightmares. His goal is to spread fear and darkness over the world, hoping to destroy humanity. He tries to convince children not to believe in the Guardians by infiltrating their dreams. In Turbo, there is the antagonist Guy Gagné. Guy Gagné is an ambitious French racer. He is the reigning champion and wants to remain so. For this, he tries to eliminate his competitors by any means necessary. Ms. Grunion is the antagonistic character in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. She is a representative of the Child Welfare Service and is determined to take custody of Sherman from Mr. Peabody. She does not consider the needs and feelings of Sherman and Mr. Peabody. The warlord Drago Bloodfist is the villain in How to Train Your Dragon 2. Drago is a threatening dragon hunter who violently tries to gain control of all dragons and use their power to conquer the world. He stops at nothing to subjugate dragons and humans. In Penguins of Madagascar, the octopus Dr. Octavius Brine is the main antagonist. As a disappointed octopus from Central Park Zoo, he is obsessed with revenge and seeks to destroy all penguins who he believes have diminished his popularity as an attraction in the zoo. The leader of the BOV, Captain Smek, is the villain in Home. His goal is to conquer Earth. He considers himself infallible and therefore wants to control society to reshape it according to his ideas. In doing so, he treats humans as inferior beings. The Bull Kai is the antagonist in Kung Fu Panda 3, opposing Pa. He was already a warrior in the spirit realm, but with the help of Oogway's chi, he returns to the world of mortals. He collects the chi of all masters to defeat the dragon warrior Pa. In Trolls, the antagonistic character is Chef Bergen. She is the leader of the Bergens, who only feel happiness when they eat trolls. Therefore, she uses all means to track down and capture trolls. She is a threatening cannibal. Francis E. Francis is the main antagonist in The Boss Baby. As a former CEO of Puppy Company, he is obsessed with redirecting people's love from babies to puppies to satisfy his own revenge and power. He uses his position and resources to discredit babies. Professor Tippy Tinkletrousers is the villain in Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. He is a brilliant scientist and has a vision. He wants to control the world to create his own order. He uses his intelligence to subjugate humans. The next terrifying villain is Grim Mel the Grizzly from the third How to Train Your Dragon movie. He is a ruthless dragon hunter and intends to destroy all Night Furies. He wants to consolidate his dominance over the dragon world. A great intimidating opponent. Dr. Zara is the villain in Abominable. She is on the hunt for the Yeti Everest to exploit his magical powers for her own selfish purposes. She only sees Everest as an object and does not care about his needs and feelings. In the second Trolls movie, Queen Barb is the antagonist. She is the leader of the Hard Rock Trolls. Her main goal is to destroy all other music styles and unite the world under her rule. She sees the diversity of music as a threat. The giant ape known as the Spiny Mandrilla is the villain in the second Croods movie. He aggressively defends his territory against intruders. He uses his power and size to dominate everything living in his territory. The villain in Spirit Untamed is named Hendrix. Hendrix is a horse breeder who constantly tries to capture the wild horses, especially Spirit, to use them for his own purposes. He uses both deception and violence. Dr. Erwin Armstrong is the antagonist in the movie The Boss Baby, Family Business. He plans to destroy the relationship between parents and children. He sees this bond as an obstacle to his world domination. Therefore, he uses innovative technologies to separate children from their parents. In The Bad Guys, Professor Marmalade is the villain. As a highly intelligent scientist, he uses his genius to devise evil plans and conquer the world. He develops a device that can control all guinea pigs and thus builds an army. The main antagonist in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is Jack Horner. Jack Horner is a notorious outlaw who is after the magical Goya statue that grants boundless wishes. For this, he resorts to betrayal and deception. In Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken, the antagonist is Queen Nerissa. She is actually the Kraken Queen and tries to maintain her power over the sea creatures. Her methods for this even go as far as destruction. The villains from the third Trolls movie are the fashion gurus Velvet and Veneer. They want to unify their trendy, soulless style, which is disturbed by the musical diversity of the Trolls. Therefore, they want to control them. Richie Panichi doesn't play a really big role, but he's most likely the villain in Orion and the Dark. He's a classmate of Orion's. He's a little bully, and that's why Orion is afraid of him. The next epic villain in the Kung Fu Panda universe is the Chameleon. The Chameleon is a powerful sorceress who can transform into any animal, even the great Kung Fu masters. So she connects all of Poe's old enemies. Her goal is also to seize control. Did you enjoy the video? Then please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks.